Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl. I'm a recovery coach here at Cap Recovery. This is our med and training meeting. That you guys don't know, it's Recovery Month. September is Recovery Month and Suicide Prevention Month. And the topic I picked today is six unique challenges men face in recovery. All right, and we're gonna hop right into it. No one enters recovery thinking it will be easy. In fact, those struggling with addiction know that getting sober will be one of the hardest things they ever do, which makes it all the more admirable when someone finds the courage to turn their life around. Even though recovery is no walk in the park, the benefits far outweigh the challenges each and every time. That being said, there are some unique obstacles that men face when recovering from drugs or alcohol addiction, from society and cultural norms that expect them to tough it out rather than ask for help, to the stigma of mental health care, even admitting that they might have a problem can feel overwhelming. For the most men, while not insurmountable, these obstacles can interfere with the treatment process and make it more difficult for men to achieve a new sober lifestyle. At Choice House, our goal is to help men triumph over addiction and be vigilant about maintaining lifelong recovery. Our treatment programs are designed to address men's unique needs and provide a supportive, comfortable environment which they can find hope and heal in the Rocky Mountains. Keep reading to learn how Choice House helps men overcome six unique challenges they face in recovery. So this is an article that I found, and it says choicehousecolorado.com. So this is an article I'm reading, and sort of six unique challenges men face in recovery. So my buddy of mine, he used to say, like, he grew up as, his dad's, you tough it out. You don't, men don't cry. We don't talk about our problems. We just tough it out. We do our own help, get our own help. We don't seek help. So it's basically, in the long run, as I got older as well, I try to do that on my own. Try to do everything on my own. I don't need nobody's help, and that pride and ego got in the way, and that caused a lot of damage in the process of me trying to get clean. So, so number one, more likely to abuse drugs or alcohol. So men are more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol. This is due to the article. All right. Studies show that men are more likely than women to begin using drugs or alcohol and tend to start doing so at a younger age. While both genders can develop a substance use disorder and fall into the cycle of addiction, men have higher rates of dependence on alcohol and almost all types of drugs, including marijuana, cocaine, and opiates. This can be due to factors like peer pressure, easier access to substance, and macho or risk-taking behavior. But there's also less stigma attached to men using drugs or alcohol. It is not uncommon for men to get high with their friends, and being able to hold or liquor is traditionally seen as a uh, masculine trait. So there you go. That pride, that ego, that tough guy attitude. You know, even for me, when I was younger and I was a kid and growing up, that we were drinking, so I was trying to outdo everybody else, and I can drink this much. How much can you drink? And talks about peer pressure. It was big around my surroundings, the people, places, and things. A lot of people and friends were using drugs and alcohol, and I fell down to that too as well. And I mean, I don't blame that, but that's part of my story. And let's see, here goes to another reason that men are more prone to substance abuse is a higher indication of co-occurring disorders, but because society tells them to man up and ignore their emotions, they're less likely to recognize a mental health problem or get help. This can lead to self-medicating with drugs or alcohol instead of addressing the underlying concerns. Untreated mental illness can also increase reckless behavior and fuel a harmful cycle of ups and downs that worsens over time. This thing's talking about me, right? This article. So co-occurring. Growing up, that some of us don't even know that we have a illness, that we have some type of mental disorders or whatever the case may be. So we would suppress our feelings and emotions or whatever we're going through with drugs and alcohol, right? And so we're talking about self medicating and that was a big problem for me. And so like sometimes you think about like, was my mental illness before the drugs and alcohol, or was it created by drugs and alcohol? You know, and I guess you would never, I won't say never find out, but like it's what about what I'm going to do with my problem now? What I'm going to do, that's here or no there, that's the past. What can I do to be better now and to move forward from and learn from our mistakes. So given the range of risk factors involved with substance use in men, treatment provided should develop high-quality programs that addresses gender-specific needs, since untreated mental health problems can interfere with the recovery process. And emphasize or dual diagnosis care is also important as increasing access solutions that appeal to men. So yes, when you have dual diagnosis, when you have some mental concerns and needs that need to be addressed, they need to be addressed as well as the recovery process. You can't treat the one without the other, because usually when you just treat the one, the other one takes over and you can be right back where you left off at, right? Or even worse. So it's best bet to seek professional help for recovery and your mental illness. So number 2, men are more reluctant to seek help. Compared to women, men are less likely to seek help from pretty much anything, whether it's asking for directions, putting together furniture, or solving a problem at work. Studies suggest that men are just biological hardwired not to be second guess themselves. This helps explain why it can be so challenging to get them to accept the advice of guidance of others, especially when it comes to mental health or addiction. Doing so would be considered a sign of weakness or failure. A greater reluctance to ask for help means that unless things are falling apart, a lot of them then will pretend that nothing's wrong. That's why it often takes a significant upheaval or crisis to motivate them into getting treatment. Otherwise, it's business as usual. Legal troubles, financial ruin, or medical problems can motivate some into seeking help, while others agree to rehab as a condition of drug court or drug court. However, they are getting them to take the first step toward recovery. In the process, it's an important catalyst for change, even if they're not ready yet. Being in supportive environment sends the message that a sober, healthy life is possible. Only after this sinks in can the healing process truly begin. So it takes sometimes it takes our bottoms to seek help, right? Instead of like if I asked for help and like really took the help, early on, more than likely possibly I won't be in a situation I am today, or I eliminated a lot of drama and chaos that I did cause in my life. So I had to learn on my own mistakes, instead of learning from others' mistakes. That's what one thing I was learning recovery is like I'd rather learn from others' mistakes than mine. But we all fall short. We all have our flaws or defects, shortcomings and stuff like that. So it's always a learning process, and we can always have room for growth. But it's easier to learn from somebody else's. As selfish as that sounds, but it's what it is. Sometimes it takes our bottoms. Sometimes it takes jails, institutions, and hopefully not death, right? But that's always there. That's always an option. And so it's your process of your recovery. It's your recovery path, and like what you choose to do with it is up to you. And it's very important to, especially for men. Like I said, the pride, ego, and a tough guy attitude, and like don't ask for help. But in the long run, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of we have some morals and some values and some common sense. Um, we'll go to number 3. Men find it hard to open up. One of the most critical aspects of the recovery process is connecting with others and becoming part of a supportive community in rehab. This includes both mental health professionals and peers who are on the same path to healing. The more individuals engage with the support system, the more therapeutic benefit that will get from the experience. The problem is many men are uncomfortable articulating their emotions in the early days of recovery. They are may also feel on guard and have trouble making new friends. This is especially true if they believe their reputation is at stake or they've been raised to associate vulnerability with a weakness. Although therapy is a safe space for sharing, being unable and unwilling to open up is one of the biggest obstacles men face in recovery. Gender-specific rehabs are one of the ways to tackle this problem, ensuring a supportive environment free from distraction, judgment, or bias. This helps men feel more comfortable as it makes it easier for them to speak freely during therapy sessions. Used in this type of treatment also addresses issues specific to men and tend to resonate better with clients. Outside of treatment, family and friends, although recovery can help men stay on track by reaching out and offering them support. Addiction and mental health problems can increase feelings or loneliness of isolation, causing someone to fall back into destructive habits if left unchecked. Having a solid support network in place during the good and the bad times can help reduce the risk of relapse and ensure lifelong sobriety. So it talked about a lot of it. Talked about like support and you know in this part was the men find it hard to open up. So I think that can be for a lot of us. It doesn't matter if it's man or female. It's hard to open up. And what I learned is I had to find somebody I can trust, right? Because we come in here not trustworthy. I wasn't trustworthy, so I wasn't even trusting myself. So I'm not going to trust somebody else. So the process of recovery, has taught me I have to open up, not to everybody, but to somebody, right? And that's, I do a 12-step fellowship. So I have a sponsor. So, but whatever the case may be for you, you have to find that mentor, sponsor, wherever that thing or person looks like, right? I go to church and I have a God of my understanding. So, it's always good to have somebody that's not going to judge you, has been through the same things that you've been through, and still, love you no matter what, because we're all here for each other. We have to have support. We have to have people in our lives. We have to have to open up. Because if we don't open up, if I don't open up, how am I going to get the help that I need? Right? If I say I'm okay, I'm good, or let that pride, that ego, let that tough guy mentality stay in the way of relationships, and like I'm putting these masks on and this barrier between me and other individuals, like how am I going to get the help that I really need? I had to write down, and analyze and reflect on a lot of things, that who I was and who I'm becoming. So I always have to find somebody that I have many people in my network of people. All my people that I have in my phone is in recovery or recovery based. I'm not saying that's that's you, but like I have to be around recovery on a day-to-day basis. And so I have to open up to when the good, the bad, and the different, it's important, very important. 4, men have a higher risk of relapse. Compared to women, studies show that men have a higher risk of relapse for many of the reasons mentioned above. Because of this, aftercare and ongoing support are crucial to staying sober long after treatment. Transitionally, periods can be especially challenging, with 30 to 40% of men relapsing in the first year of recovery. To combat this, most rehabs offer outpatient care or sober living to help clients readjust to daily life. These programs provide an opportunity for men to practice new coping skills in the real world. But with the support network still in place, transitional care makes The sudden lack of structure after rehab feel less jarring and helps clients rebuild their confidence as they learn how to resist triggers or temptations as they gain more independence and experience. This approach leaves men better equipped to avoid relapse compared to an abrupt end to all treatment services. So, this is like I said, this is our article. We have our own beliefs, and I don't know if it's a men are a higher risk of relapse or whatever the case may be. But I know for me, um, I was more prone to relapse because I always went to treatment or always went to jail or I always went to a facility and I never followed up. It talks about aftercare, right? It's up to the individual to protect their recovery, and I always went to these places and then got out and end up using like almost immediately because I was just uh, being in treatment. I wasn't really actively I was participating, but like really soaking it in and really applying what I took to getting out of treatment. They say, do 90-90 hit meetings up, get a sponsor, get a home group, get a guy of your understanding. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of pathways of recovery, and I didn't search for these, right? I always went in, came out, and did the same things. I wonder why I kept on relapsing, because I wasn't participating in my recovery when I got out of these facilities. It's crucial to when you get out or if you're in a treatment facility, please go to meetings. Please get with some type of recovery center as you see that or I'm a recovery coach. We have a recovery center. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of support. We have a lot of things that set up to better your life. Um, let's see here. Number 5, men struggle with positive emotions. When we think of relapse, we usually imagine someone in recovery using drugs or alcohol. After a major stressor such as getting divorced or losing your job, while these triggers are often associated with relapse, you might be surprised to learn that positive emotions like optimism, joy, or excitement are more likely to present a bigger challenge for men. How can such positive emotions be a bad thing? They're typically not. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that the men report these feelings more often than women. Before relapsing, because men are less in touch with their emotion side, it seems like positive feelings can become overwhelming and cloud their judgment. Men are more likely to let their guard down when they may feel especially good and convince themselves they can resume using drugs or alcohol, but in moderation this time. This is another reason aftercare is ongoing support and are so important to the recovery process. Addiction is an insidious disease that can strike when you least suspect it, and for men, that seems to be when things are going particularly well. I like that. And see, relapse doesn't happen when something goes bad, right? We always think, things are unmanageable, and uh, yes, that's prone to relapse. But even when stuff is good, let's celebrate or I had a good day. Let's use. I deserve it. There's things that we tell ourselves, but it will always mean that things are not going our way or going bad. That relapse is preventable. It's even when the good things go, and we for me, when I feel these emotions, and I don't want to deal with some of them, I always self-medicate. I've learned that. That's what recovery process is about. It's learning why I kept on using drugs. I get to the core of the disease, and it talks about insidious. We can have good days and everything be okay, and the disease can sneak in and tell you some stuff. So I got to be on guard 24/7. So it's really disease of addiction is really tricky. Um, we'll go to the last one here. Number 6, men are more likely to have a co-occurring disorder. More than half of those struggling with addiction also have co-occurring mental health disorder. The risk factors are similar. Interactions between them mean that one can worsen the other, making it more difficult to achieve After recovery, while this is true for both men and women, the patterns and types of disorders that affect them vary. Men are more likely to suffer from serious mental health problems like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. The symptoms beginning at an early age compared to other diagnoses, schizophrenia and bipolar disorder are notoriously difficult to manage and associate with significantly higher rates of substance abuse. Men are also more likely to develop autism spectrum disorders, impulse control disorders, and antisocial personality disorder, all of which can increase the risk of addiction. Dual diagnosis care that addresses both substance abuse and mental disorders is men essential for achieving lifelong recovery without it. Difficult symptoms can linger and disrupt the healing process. Triggering a relapse or mental health crisis can make it real meaningful progress toward recovery. Men need care that there goes above and beyond to treat any underlying disorders and help them manage their symptoms in a healthier way. So it talks about the co-occurring. And another thing, not to say disagree, but my belief is and my thoughts is like, there's a lot of, it doesn't matter men and women, right? There's a lot of co-occurring going on. Usually drug addiction co-occurs with mental health, and sometimes we can address the one, but we don't want to address the other. I admit to I'm a drug addict, but I don't want to admit that I have some mental needs that I need help with, or I don't want to take medications, even for myself, where I was, becoming my own doctor and saying I've got depression, I got anxiety, I have this, I have that, and I'm getting all these medications prescribed, and I'm becoming my own doctor, and I'm giving myself these medications and abusing the medications. So it's like we wrap ourselves up in this web, and it's like, now how am I going to get out of it? And it took some time, it took some pain, it took some suffering, and it almost cost me my life. And so if you have some of these issues, it's very important to address them, instead of running from it or suppressing with more drugs and alcohol. So that was the end of our meeting today. Like I said earlier, my name is Carl. I'm a recovery coach at Cap Recovery. You guys are more than welcome to come in. And so this virtual meeting, it's Recovery Month. September is Recovery Month and Suicide Prevention Month. So until next time, we'll see you later.